Okay. It's going to be a quick one here. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for November 13th, 2017. Could we get the roll, please?
Tyler Robinson.
Here.
John Spring.
Here.
Danielle Bailey.
Here.
Brian Looney.
Here.
Jared Gardner.
Here.
Andre Spinelli, Mitzi Barker, Greg Strike have been excused. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, no minutes, disclosures, and Jared, welcome. Any disclosures on the cases here? Okay, still got to go through them. Jared, do you have anything to disclose on the cases in front of you tonight?
Yes, I'm
Getting
not
the language down.
sure how relevant it is at this point, but I'll not be voting on Resolution 2017-31 since I wasn't yet seated on the commission.
Great, thank you. Danielle?
I was contacted by two members of the public regarding agenda item G2. I instructed both of them to contact our planning staff to pass along that information. And then I also, one of them, Chair, was on as well, and I believe he asked them to extend copies of all those comments to the rest of the commission as well.
Yeah, and I'll get to that. Well, did I send you that email, Dave? Sent you an email with a member of the public that had asked a question about the ADU ordinance, and basically it was your email correspondence with him, Zach Fields. Anyway, I'm going to resend what I had, and if you could include that in the packet as well, that correspondence.
I can do that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Looney.
Nothing to report.
John?
I have no conflicts.
So I'm going to disclose, and I'll disclose it again next week. But I'd be interested in although I would not have the votes to participate. So maybe we have to do it again next week anyway. But on the accessory dwelling unit ordinance, I participate in the AEDC Live Work Play committee. This ordinance is, I think, in large part a product of that group advocating for housing innovations and solutions, and they've sort of brought forward, and a subcommittee of that group has worked with staff to put the ordinance forward. And so with that, I wanted to disclose that relationship. Also, we have built structures under Cook Inlet Housing that resemble an accessory dwelling unit, though are not technically an accessory dwelling unit because they're done as triplexes, but it's a building style that we've built previously. So I don't know if what we're looking for, because they wouldn't be able to be directed to participate, and I think we'll go through this again at the next meeting, and then the body can decide or ask more questions at that point, but just to get it out there initially. That work? Okay. So unfortunately, consent agenda, we do not have the votes necessary to pass the consent agenda, correct? So that will move to the next meeting. Case 2017-129, this is an ordinance related to buildings with greenhouses on rooftops. I believe staff would like to postpone this case. Is that right? And Lori wants me to read this. So the procedures that we're under today of a short board is when there's a short 5-member board or commission, a postponement is offered to and agreed to by the petitioner. They will be moved to the next regular agenda. This should occur within 30 days, which does not require renoticing the cases. If the petitioner is willing to postpone but unable to attend the next available meeting date within 30 days, the petitioner has a one-time only option to choose the next date certain he or she can attend at no extra fee. So I think that's in front of the first and then the second case. So Ryan, what's the wish of the municipality?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The municipality of Anchorage wishes to postpone case 2017-0129 until December 11th.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to postpone to December 11th? Thank you, Mr. Spring. Seconded by Ms. Bailey. Any objection to that postponement? Hearing none, that case is postponed, and we'll have a public hearing on December 11th. Next up is case 2017-95. This is the ordinance related to accessory dwelling units. Mr. Whitfield, I assume that we're doing the same thing here.
Through the chair to the commission, the municipality wishes to postpone this case to December 4th.
So that case is moved to December 4th with a motion to postpone it. Can I get that motion? Thanks, Mr. Looney, seconded by Ms. Bailey. And before I ask for objection, it looked like, Ms. Bailey, you had some comments for staff. Anyone else wish to give staff additional comments at this point, or wait till public hearing or the meeting in December? Any direction to them? You can ask them offline as well for additional information.
I've already gone through most of my comments with staff, but just for the rest of the board and to get on the record, on, I believe it was page 10 of the ordinance, it refers to off-street parking instructions. I just think that needs to be clear about, let me pull it up. It's not quite sure, it says when approved by the municipal traffic engineer, and it's not quite sure based on the grammatical structure what version of parking that's modified, and I think it's only related to on-street parking. However, it's just ambiguous by the way that it's worded, so I think a comma there would be helpful. Additionally, on the size, I don't see, couldn't find any reasoning why our size was 900, given that more densely populated areas that maybe need these more, we're able to keep them to 800 square foot, so I think that's a more reasonable accommodation. Same thing with the height. It seemed like 22 and a half was a more consistent use as opposed to 25. And then one of the last issues I had was just a clarifying question of between the ADUs and other accessory structures, what the limitation was for lot coverage. Just a concern of having an entire backyard being a deck, a sauna, a shed, and an accessory dwelling unit. But I think I have been, that concern has been mitigated based on staff comments. And then the other thing is just for a finding that I think should be on the record is that we do have an aging population, and that I see a large part of these ADUs could be mother-in-law apartments and father-in-law apartments. And so since we currently don't have enough senior housing, having those facilities and to be able to support that in a communal living environment is important. Additionally, we don't tend to have the best rental areas. So if I see what these ADU structures being used for is primarily being the mother-in-law, father-in-law style where you can have extended family members there. The other would be an extra rental income. And then the last one would be probably used as an Airbnb type feature. And even though there are some negatives with that, there is the potential of now the municipality does have an agreement with Airbnb, and so that brings automatic tax money back to the city, so there is some benefit in that too. And I think those were my main comments.
Okay, thanks. And those won't likely formally show up as findings since we don't have a main motion to adopt, but yeah, I think your comment there was to other commissioners, should they choose to hear the same. Okay. So any other technical issues for staff at this time? You probably got a whole list of them. Shall we wait?
I can wait.
Okay. All right, with that, is there any objection to postpone until December the 4th? Hearing none, that case is postponed to hopefully a more complete board. Jared, I understand they put you up to something here this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn? All right, there you go, first one. Is there a second? Any objection? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.